So basically DevOps is combination of development plus operations. In development, we are building code and maintaining it. For the DevOps process, we are using various tools that will be useful when communicating each other, also saving the source code. And we are also building CI/CD pipelines. So these tools are very important. I'm listing the tools that will be part of course. First of all, you should have some Git-like tool that will be useful in GitHub or GitLab setup, and which is useful for source management, source code management. We will have multiple versions of the code via using Git. Then you must know about code editors that are present in the system. That we can use VS Code, which is from Microsoft, or you must have known about Nano Editor or Vim Editor, which is part of Linux operating system. Then containerization, we can have Docker, Kubernetes, this type of tools. Also, along with, if you are on AWS, you can have ECS, Elastic Container Service, Elastic Kubernetes Service, and ECR, Elastic Container Registrar. This ECS, which is parallel to the Docker system, EKS, which is parallel to the Kubernetes system, and ECR, which is parallel to the Docker Hub. So when you are working on an infrastructure level, right now we are having cloud system, public cloud service provider are providing you renting service. So whatever resource infrastructure that you want, you can rent it from a data center. Then for the configuration management, you must have heard about Terraform tool, which is infrastructure as a code tool. So from the code itself, you will have templates over there. You can use pre-existing templates or you can edit those. And these are in form of JSON and YAML. JSON, which is JavaScript object notation. Okay. And YAML, which is used for the configuration management. So Terraform, Chef, Puppet, these are configuration tools you can use. Jenkins, which is most important tool, and this will be used for CI/CD. CI means continuous integration and CD means continuous deployment. Also, when you are using Git system over here, we can have repo service either from AWS or Azure, which can integrate with Jenkins. Then we are having tool that is Ansible, which is from Red Hat, where you can manage multiple hosts at the same time. You can connect with multiple machines and you can fire commands, and that change will be implemented at the same time to all machines. Okay, so these are the possible tools we will cover in our course. Now let's check for roadmap for the DevOps. And this has been covered in the last session too, but I am repeating. So for starting with the DevOps, you should have some programming language, any programming language, maybe Python, Ruby, Go, or JavaScript, Node.js, React.js, anything that may be useful. Also, if you are having any full stack development experience, that will be useful. Then as per the part of operating system, as we are running applications and tools on top of OS, Linux, which is most important, Debian OS, or you can also use for SUSE Linux, Red Hat type of Linux. These are the major three types in case of Linux. Then in case of Windows, you can have Windows 7, 8, 10, 11 or Windows Server 12, 16, 20, 22. In Unix operating system also useful, and this is the server OS, Unix operating system, but it's absolute right now. most of the servers we are working on, that will be a Linux servers. Then scripting language experience is useful in case of DevOps, as we are going with the automation. The manual process is gone now. Now we are having .sh script files. Whatever content to be put, we can put it in that particular file and we will run it. As for the process management, we can have performance monitoring, network tools, and text manipulation settings. In part of editors, you can use any editor like Vim, Nano, or VS Code, which is most famous. Then part comes to the web servers, means you are hosting websites. And over there, we can have Nginx, Tomcat, which is Apache server also there, and IIS, that is Internet Information Services. Let me check if some query is there. Yes, Aniket. At the 19 upstairs, SAP department. SAP board will be there, and you can go upstairs over there. नहीं फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे नहीं, ग्राउंड पे ही है. ग्राउंड पे ही जो अपना क्लाउड का डिपार्टमेंट अभी जो शिफ्ट हुआ है ना, वहां से ऊपर आना है. हाँ हाँ हाँ, वही पे. ठीक. Then for network setting, we can have firewall setting, load balancers, which are useful in case of public clouds. Okay, or internally also we can use it. Two types of load balancer are there. If you are having any hands-on experience with AWS, Azure, you can relate to it. Then reverse proxy, forward proxy, and caching servers. These are part when you will go with web server settings. Then FTP means file transfer protocol, HTTP, which is hypertext transfer protocol, HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol secure, and SSL TLS. These are the certificates. SSH, which is secure shell connection. When you are connecting any Linux machine through the terminal, you can use SSH setting. Public cloud platforms which are available in case of DevOps, that is AWS, Amazon Web Services. Then Azure, which is from Microsoft, Google Cloud platform, that is GCP, and DigitalOcean, which is also most famous and least used as compared to the other. In terms of containers, you can have Docker or Linux container system, that is LXC. Now these are cloud platforms, that is Alibaba Cloud, Heroku Cloud, Vultr, and Linode, Linode. Okay, and these are also used very much for application deployment on a cloud, on a private level. Then in networking, you can have 7-layer architecture, that is OSI model, email system. So you must have heard about the SMTP protocol, that is messaging protocol for the mails. IMAP, POP3, domain keys, SPF. These are the settings over there. Then most important part, which is serverless. Right now we are not going directly with the code which is running on a server. From the code itself, we can run the servers. These are settings, and we are having Azure functions, AWS Lambda service, which is more important. Then Netlify, you must have tried for the Netlify application deployment, which is free. This comes under the serverless. As for the configuration management, this part is infrastructure as a code. From the code itself, you can deploy various resources, that is Terraform, Pulumi. Then CloudFormation, which is from AWS. AWS CDK, that is AWS Cloud Deployment Kit. Cloud Development Kit, sorry. And that will be no connection. Just a sec. थोड़ा माइक को sorry. So for infrastructure provisioning, you can use Terraform, CloudFormation, AWS CDK, and Pulumi. For configuration management, we can use Ansible, Shape, and Puppet. These three tools are very important, and throughout the course we are covering it. So for CI/CD, that is continuous integration, continuous deployment, you can use GitLab CI, that is for continuous integration. Jenkins, which acts as a server. Then GitHub Actions, which is from GitHub itself. Now GitHub is part of Microsoft. And Circle CI, Travis CI, this is for continuous integration. Then secret management means whatever certificates you are storing, that will be comes under secret management. That is Vault. Cloud specific tools are there, seal secrets. Mostly certificates can be stored for website hosting and other applications as well. Then infrastructure monitoring tools, we can have Azure DevOps Service, Zabbix, Prometheus, which is used for in case of containers, Grafana and Datadog. These are the famous one. For application monitoring, we can have App Dynamics, Datadog, and OpenTelemetry. Then this is for log management, and in case we are doing auditing in an organization, we can go through the log management. For container orchestration systems, that is Kubernetes orchestration, we can have EKS, that is Elastic Kubernetes Service, Azure Kubernetes Service, Google Kubernetes Engine. Any one of these can be used. AWS Fargate system, which is platform as a service. There are three types for cloud: platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service. Out of which, when we are not having that much of configuration to be made, we can use platform directly. So AWS Fargate and AWS ECS, these are platform as a service, which comes under container orchestration. Artifacts, which are dependencies. Then Docker Swarm, Kubernetes, which are container orchestration systems. And these are cloud design patterns. We are focusing on availability. We are achieving 99.99% availability. Data management, design and implementation, management and monitoring. And these are part of service mesh. For the networking purpose, this will be used. This is Istio and Consul. Consul is from HashiCorp. Istio is from IBM. And then keep learning. We are updating every time, every seconds. So along with these tools, so many things are there depending on your company culture, in which company you are going to work. Either it's of AWS partner, Kubernetes partner, Azure partner. That's the culture thing. Okay, so these are the tools that out of which few tools we will cover within our syllabus. Right now, we will directly start with the Git system. So the first tool that we will start, that's a Git. Now what is Git? Git is version control system. What it is? Version control system. Like you are having WhatsApp. So code of WhatsApp should be saved saved on any particular version control system, and then we are getting versions over here. So in version 1, you had, suppose you had feature like your status will be for 24 hours will be kept. In version 2, you are getting direct share contacts. In version 3, you are getting some DP like settings. In version 4, you are getting some user interface improvements. So that same code having lot more features to be added, and rather than keeping different codes at the same time, we can track those changes. That's the importance of Git system. So you can have WhatsApp version 1.1 over here 1.2, here 1.3, here 1.4. Okay, suppose you are having this particular feature and this to be removed as per the user experience. So what we can do, we can backtrack. our own code and we can use pre-existing code. Suppose this version is not useful from the user's perspective, you can navigate to the least version, to the 1.2. Okay, so that's the use when you will have Git system. And most important platform, that is GitHub from the Microsoft now. So previously Git system is being installed on your system, but GitHub has added some user interface for your understanding and user profiles for to have our own accounts over there. Okay, so you can create a repo, that is repository in Git system, where you can upload your code. So you are developing your code and uploading to the repository. Right now, what I will do, I will show you how to install Git system on Linux machine. On Linux machine, we will try for simple command, that is sudo apt install Git. And after this, we will check for version using git version command. So sudo, which is for taking permission from administrator. For installing any package in a Linux system, you are taking permission from admin. So we are using sudo. Apt is act as an agent, and we are having install as the command. And the package that we will try, that will be git. And I'm adding -y at last for directly saying yes. Right now from AWS, I am launching one Linux type of instance. I will connect it via SSH and then I will install Git over there. So I'm navigating to my AWS account. So it will be like whenever you will work in an industry, you have to work along with the cloud. Cloud plus DevOps, that will increase your selection criteria in resume. So though our course is of DevOps only, but we don't have any infrastructure over here. So we are buying infrastructure from data center. Just a sec. The instance that I will launch, that will be of Amazon Linux type, which is based on RHEL, that is Red Hat Linux. And over there, we will try to install Git. I will also show you how to install Git on Windows type of operating system that I am currently having. So you can also navigate for git-scm.com. From here, you can click on download for Windows in case of Windows operating system. So you can have setup depending on your operating system types, that is 32-bit and 64-bit. I hope most of you are having 64-bit operating system. If you want to check for OS type, you can go for PC info from your start settings. The setup will be downloaded soon. Let's try for the Linux OS. So from here, I'm navigating to EC2 service, that is Elastic Compute Cloud. From EC2 console, I will click on Launch Instance tab. And then I will go with the configuration of OS over there. I will select for Amazon Linux, type of instance. I will select T2 Micro, which is free for 750 hours. And I have selected for region, that is North Virginia. If you want to, you can select for region, that is for Mumbai region. I think internet speed is low from my side. Let me communicate with the team. We'll take break for 5 minutes because here I'm facing some internet issue. Let me solve it. Okay, now it's working. So I'm navigating for launch instance, and from here, hello sir. Hello sir, यहाँ पे internet issue चल रहा है, demo भी चल रहा है, 90 पे upstairs. Okay, so we can name this instance. Here I'm naming it as web server. Then I'm selecting for Amazon Linux. From here I'm selecting for operating system, that is Amazon Linux 2023, which is Red Hat based. Then I'm selecting for instance type, that is T2 Micro. Then selecting a key pair, we can create a key pair which is used for authentication purpose. that is for secure shell connection. Here I am naming it as key.pm. For network setting, I am selecting VPC network, which is default one, that is virtual private cloud. Subnet, which will be default, will be selected. Auto-assigning public IP, which is important. Here I am creating a security group, which is acting as a firewall over here, and we are allowing traffic from SSH. So within the diagram itself, I have told you SSH settings are required for so many things, and then we are having web server settings, which is for HTTP and HTTPS protocols. And then here I am clicking on launch instance. So after launching of this instance, I will connect to it. And for this connection, I will use this key pair. So that key pair name should be proper. Here I am navigating for downloads folder. I am deleting my old key, which is with the same name. And I have to provide the path. Here I am navigating to downloads for SSH connection, and from here I will paste SSH command. So here I am connecting with the instance itself. थोडं नेट स्पीड बघा बरं. सेटअप लावलेला आहे, जास्त मोठं नाही सेटअप, 62 MB. रिस्टार्ट नाही केला, मध्येच कसं करणार डेमो. प्रॉब्लेम कशामध्ये होतो? नाही मध्येच सेव्ह होते, कमी होते सर, थोडीफार बाउन्स बॅक एवढंच नाही ना होत, कारण मीटिंग चालू आहे. काम करा, CRM ला सांगा की त्यांना सांगा तसं, मी इथे कंटिन्यू नाही करणार, डेमो पासून सोडत असेल मी सांगतो मी एवढं सर. एवढ्या स्पीडवर नाही शिकवणार. मीटिंग जाईल तात्पुरतं घेऊन टाकतो, आहे भरपूर इश्यू. फोन कुठे गेला यार, त्याच्या खाली. हेलो सर. हाँ सर, नेट का बहुत इशू है यहाँ पे. अभी डेमो भी बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो लैब चेंज करनी पड़ेगी बाद में. हेलो हेलो. Okay, we are continuing. So we are connecting this instance directly selecting it, clicking on connect. I'm copying this command and pasting it over here. So key pair is present in downloads folder. Command that we have used, that is SSH for secure shell connection, -I for identity. Then we have entered a key pair name that we are assigning it with the EC2 instance. Username is EC2-user, an address space that has been came from the AWS itself, which is assigned with the public IP of instance. Then I'm pressing enter button. हेलो सर, हाँ सर, नेट कनेक्शन प्रॉपर नहीं है और बच्चे बहुत ज़्यादा है यहाँ पे, आप लैब चेंज कर दो बाद में। और अभी 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 स्टूडेंट्स ऑफलाइन हैं और ऑनलाइन भी बहुत सारे। ऑफलाइन में बता, ऑनलाइन बताते हैं। 8 ऑफलाइन है और 1 2 3 4 7 ऑनलाइन, ऑनलाइन 7, ऑफलाइन 8 है, 8 स्टूडेंट्स। हाँ, बैच 1 से 3 तक, 1 से 3 तक। हाँ, सर मैं सेशन कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ थोड़ा 5-10 पॉइंट इसमें डिलीवर। Okay, so here I am entering yes for connections, and in this way I have connected to the instance, and you will get the details soon over here. Here will be username and public IP of machine. Now we will try for checking git version with git --version command. So what it's showing? The command not found because git has been not installed yet. So first of all, we will update this machine with the help of sudo yum update -y. Okay, so machine has been updated. Now we will install git over here. So for installation, I am using sudo yum install git command, and I am adding -y at the end. So now it's installing git on Linux machine. Then I'm checking for git version again with the help of git -version command. Okay, now it's showing git version 2.40.1. So in this way you can install git on a Linux system. Understood? Do you have any doubt? Next, now we will try on a Windows version. So you can download this setup of git. Right now I am having pre-existing setup in my software folders. I will use it. Yeah, so this setup that will be downloaded when you are going for git-scm.org official website. Then I'm clicking on next. Then here lot more options are there, out of which this will create a shortcut on your desktop. This will, for the integration purpose, you can have git bash, which will user interface for git system. Then git LFS, when you are uploading large files from your local machine to the git repository, this git LFS setting is important. We can have .git configuration file in every directory. When you are creating any repo locally, that you will have hidden folder that is of .git configuration file, .sh, which will be for bashing purpose, and on a daily basis you can update Git from the system itself. Also, you can have Git bash profile to your Windows terminal. The Windows terminal where you can enter your commands to communicate with operating system. Here I am going with the next. Here I am going with the next. Then previously it was the master branch for Git system. Later on, so many rights were there and people demanded that master and slave architecture should not be there, and then they have renamed it to the main. So whenever you are creating any repo, main branch will be there. Okay, so I can have an override default branch name for new repositories. Okay, and that will be main. Then clicking on next, you can use Git from Git bash only, or you can try for Git from command line and also from third party software. And third one, which you can use Git and optional Unix tools from the command prompt. Now, Linux that has been created from the Unix system, and Unix was military system. Later on, when they have added a general public licensing, it came to the use for the students and those people who are working and trying in the IT at the initial level. So here we are selecting for Git from the command line and also from the third party software, clicking on next. Now we are having Open Bundle Open SSH. It's a protocol. So SSH protocol that will be used with ssh.exe setup for the Git. Then I am clicking on next. Here you can have OpenSSL, that is for certificates purposes. You can check out Windows style commit Unix style ending, or you can check out as a Unix style line ending. So you can select for any setup, but which is more important, that is at the top. Then you can click on mini TTY setup, which is default terminal for MSYS2 version. Then clicking on next, clicking on next. This is on a merge level. So we are merging the code in Git system. That setting is there, and we can save our credentials in a credentials manager. Then clicking on next. We are enabling file system, symbolic links. Clicking on next. Experimental support for sudo console and enable experimental built-in file system monitor. So it's communicating with the operating system for file management. That's the case. And here I'm clicking on install button. So if I'm having previous version, it will upgrade, or if you are not having any Git version, it will install the same. So within program files, you can have Git folder where a Ming W64, which is of 64-bit setup, is being installed. Okay, here I'm clicking on finish, or you can launch Git bash as well. So here I'm clicking on finish. So from here you can use Git system, but I would prefer to use it from the PowerShell itself. And from here you can try for Git commands. We will learn for Git commands right now. We will just check for version from Windows system. So for checking the version from Windows system, I'm opening PowerShell. And from here, I can try for git --version command. And we will validate installation on a Windows system. Okay, so in this way, you can check version on Windows operating system, and you can install the Git setup. Now, the first practice for Git, we will do it easy one, that you have to sign up for GitHub account. So you can navigate for github.com for it. Here we will create a repo which will be remote repo. There are two types. First of all, you are creating local repo, and secondly, you are creating a remote repo. Whenever you are working with the remote repo, you will match your local repo with the remote repo. And right now I am showing you how to create a remote repo which is present online on a GitHub system. Now GitHub is a user interface with the Git itself. You can create your own profile from the github.com. Right now I am clicking on this plus button for creating a new repo. Here I am clicking on new repository. I will name this testing my first repo. So this name should be unique. Then you can add the description, testing for repo purposes. Two types of repos are present. Either you can keep it public so that other people from the internet can use it. And private one, when you are working in an organization, mostly private repos are being used. But private repos are limited in case of GitHub. That's why companies are using GitLab. So GitLab is a separate company which has been founded from the staff member of GitHub itself, and he has left GitHub and then founded his own company in the name of GitLab. So in case of GitLab, you are having more private repos. Here I am clicking on add readme file. So when you are installing any software, you must have read about the readme file which is present in the setup itself. So that type of file you can also keep on your repository. Here we are choosing for licensing, whatever licensing you want on a public level, whether you are providing your software to the organizations or for the other people, you will select license depending on it. So here I am selecting for MIT license, clicking on create repository. So when I am creating this repository, I am getting one particular URL. Okay. Now we will try to clone this repo to our local system. So here I am clicking on this particular settings. Here is a clone details. Here I am copying this command. I will navigate to my PowerShell and here I am pasting it. But before this, let me navigate to some folder. I am navigating to my D drive. And from here, I am creating one folder with mkdir command. That's why I have told you that Linux commands are important when you are doing some DevOps practice. So mkdir command, which is useful when you will have to create a new folder. So here I am adding a folder as a testing GitHub. I will navigate to this directory. I am pressing the tab button over here with the cd command, and then here I am going with git clone command. I am cloning the repository that we have created and entering the same. So now it will download whatever files that are present in your GitHub repo, and when you are going for the ls, you can see that the folder has been there. So if you are checking for this folder with cd command, you can see that that particular license file that you have created and readme file that you have created. Now what I will do, I will update this online repository or remote repository. So what I can do, I can create a file over here. So I can use new -item, or you, in case of Linux, you can try for touch command. The file that I will try, I am entering hello.py as the file name. So what it's showing, it's tracking the changes. If you are going with the git status command, after this, you can see that this file has been added to you from your system itself, but that is not part of repository yet. So you have to add this file. So you can go with git add command and then file name. So let's edit this file and then save some code over here. So I can go with editing. So I can use code as well, or I can use notepad. I'm going with code space hello dot py command. And I will just go with simply print statement. I can use print, then in double inverted bracket I'm adding hello world, and I'm saving this. So I have saved this, and now if you're checking for the code which will print some hello world as the output. Now I will run this. I'm going with python space hello dot py. It's showing hello world as the output, but this is not part of repository yet. We have to add it. Now I can go with git add, name of file is hello.py, and entering the same. Now you can see that color has been changed now. So if you are going with git status again, what it's showing, the new file has been added. And now I can push this particular file from my local repository to the remote repository. So I can go with git push -o origin main. So if you're checking for the branch, my current branch is main. Entering the same. Okay, sorry. Main does not appear to be git repository. Could not. Okay, make sure you have correct access rights. Okay, I can directly try for git push. Okay, I have to commit it first. So I am going with git commit command after going for adding the file. So I am going with git commit -m, whatever message I want to add, I will just add it, added a Python code. So in this way, I have committed some message for understanding of other developer. And then I will try for pushing this code. Main does not. Okay, I can directly try for git push. Okay, now it's going to upload the file that has been present in a local repository to the remote repository. And if I'm checking online for this my GitHub repo, I'm getting hello.py over there, and whatever changes that I have made, I have added some message for other coder, that is I have added a Python code. Okay, so task for you I am assigning. First of all, you have to install Git on Linux system. Second task, you have to install Git on Windows system. Third task, you have to sign up for GitHub account. Fourth task, that you have to create a repository. Fifth task, you have to clone this repository and add some code. Understood? I am adding this message in a group of DevOps. So task 1, install Git on Linux system. Task 2, you can try to install Git on EC2 from AWS. Third task, you have to install Git on Windows machine. Fourth task, you have to sign up for GitHub account. Task 5, you have to create repository on GitHub. Task 6, you have to clone repo to your local computer or EC2 instance. Same command can be used from the terminal. And task 7, you have to add Python file, that is hello.py, which is consisting of only hello world message. So you can have print statement within some brackets, that is hello world, and you can save this code, and after task 7 you can try to add it. So you can go with add space name of file. Suppose my file name is hello.py, then you can try for add hello.py. After adding it, you can commit message. So you can go with commit -m message that you are adding. Also you can try for git status. So git add, after git add you can check for git status command, and then you can go with git commit command. Or after committing you can go with git push command. So this type of practice you have to do at home. Also you can clone this repo. Here you can go with git clone command and URL. You can copy this URL from GitHub for your repo. I'm also providing a recording for the same. You can watch the recording and try this task at home. I'm copying this message and pasting it in a group. Okay, if you have any doubt you can ask. कुछ डाउट है इंस्टॉलेशन में, कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में, या रेपो क्रिएट करने में, गिटहब का अकाउंट के बारे में कुछ चाहिए इन्फॉर्मेशन? नहीं। ये बेसिक कमांड से इसकी चीट शीट भी मैं दे दूंगा अगले सेशन में। पहले आप ये प्रैक्टिस कर लो, और प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद ग्रुप पे डालना स्क्रीनशॉट, तो मुझे पता चलेगा कि कौन प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा है।